欢迎来到中国的自媒体。
Welcome to Chinese social media, says Paul Ashton, an American influencer in China who is no stranger to RedNote, the social media platform known in China as Xiaohongshu. This week, a person close to the platform told Reuters more than 500,000 American users piled into the platform in protest of an imminent ban on TikTok. Ashton is based in Shanghai, but online he goes by Bao Bao Xiong, literally Hug Hug Bear, and his videos have billions of views. He was excited to see the surge of so-called TikTok refugees as a foreigner in China and RedNote veteran.
I have loved seeing the enthusiasm and the joy at which I've seen a lot of Chinese netizens engaging with people that are English speakers. Like, one of my favorite memes I've seen so far is just like, "Hello Americans, show us your cats." Like, if there's one thing that binds the internet, it's that we all love cat pictures, you know?
While China has for years tightly controlled its cyberspace through its Great Firewall, and Chinese social media platforms have in the past run separate domestic and abroad versions of their apps, RedNote is unique as it only maintains one version of its app, and it gives both Chinese and American users a rare opportunity to interact directly with each other.
I'm not sure how many of the new users will actually stick around and hang out, but I hope that they do, because I think that that would be a really important shift in cultural exchange that the first time in a long time puts the ball in China's court a little bit more, but then even more specifically puts the ball in the hands of Chinese people in China.
In China, RedNote as a platform is popular for finding recommendations for beauty, travel, or food. On Wednesday, many of its users posted selfies and messages welcoming new American users. Though Beijing-based academic Liu Xinliang, who studies the digital economy, says RedNote was caught unprepared.
It's an accident, but since it is an accident, it is actually good for them, and there also may be certain risks. If they want to catch this wave of prosperity, I think they may have to do at least a few things. The first thing is to make your interface and UI more friendly. It's the first time that a large number of people have had such a large-scale exchange, and the exchanges between the two sides are relaxed and enthusiastic. From what I've seen, they were all learning about each other's living habits, local conditions, and customs.
There were also signs that some new foreign users were testing the platform's censorship limits, with some posting on social media network X that they were unable to post about topics known to be sensitive in China, such as the 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown. But for now, China's welcoming the migration of TikTokers to RedNote with open arms. Chinese state media CCTV ran reports saying that TikTok users had found a new home. And China's foreign ministry spokesperson said on Wednesday the use of social media is a personal choice, and China encourages and supports people-to-people exchanges.
As I sit here and record this video with everyone staring at me, it's okay because I'm one of the TikTok refugees and I'm used to this. I just want to thank you for welcoming us to this app. If we do anything wrong, just let us know, because we're used to making videos where we dance and do stupid stuff. Well, the OGs are. The new TikTok people, they're not really used to that. They're just used to pushing sales to the TikTok shop. So just tell us and we will correct it. Just let us know, and hopefully within 2 weeks we're bilingual. I mean, that's my goal in life. It would help us everywhere. But yeah, also anything, just let us know. Say, listen, you need to stop that, and we will do whatever you need us to do, because it doesn't look like we're going anywhere. Looks like that ban is going into effect, and I'm probably going to lose my 3 cents per video, but you know what, that's okay. I like you guys are awesome. So thanks.
I moved because I really believe the ban's happening, where a lot of people don't believe it is, and they're still over there. But I went to RedNote because one of my friends referred me to it, and I just think it's great.
I love us. I'll be honest with you, on any given day, I vacillate wildly between loving us and just hating us all. But today I love us. I love us especially today because the government said we're taking away TikTok because the Chinese government having our data is a threat, to which hundreds of thousands of millennial, Gen Z, and Gen X Americans went, and we, myself included, downloaded an even more Chinese app and went, here's our data. Now give us the dancing cats. It's RedNote, Xiaohong Xue. Confident I didn't say that right. But so many of us downloaded it, we crashed out their system. It can't verify users right now. It's so overwhelmed by Americans just flocking to it. I love us. Somebody asked Duolingo how many people switched to Mandarin in the last couple days. I need to know. We as an American public feel so very silenced and ignored that this right here is our opportunity to really just shove a middle finger up in the air and go, no, we don't like this. You didn't listen to us. And if it were a problem, then RedNote would also not be available in the app stores. Temu, Shein, all of these other apps that are directly tied to American dollars leaving American soil and being invested in the Chinese economy. All of that is sort of tied into, we're sort of sick of being told what to think and how to think, but we feel rather powerless as to do anything, because when we call our reps, we get ignored. When we try to vote in a way that's meaningful and impactful, we somehow end up on the wrong side. Like, there's so many factors involved in downloading RedNote. Feels more like a quiet, passive revolt more than this is going to be my new primary platform. It's probably not. It probably isn't. If people are porting over there, even if it's just sort of a silent little protest, I kind of just want to keep up. I don't think it's got legs in it. Especially since it's designed specifically for a very specific group of people who do not enjoy the same protections of speech that we do. The newness will wear off once we're all sort of bored holding up that middle finger to the government. We'll wander off, but for now, I'm just sort of hanging out, consuming, but I also chose not to solidify my account. It's just, I don't think it's a good fit. I don't think it's got staying power, but I do kind of want to see, what is the appeal? Why are we hanging out here?
There's a lot of nice people on there that are very helpful, but I do believe we're gonna get the ban, but I do think it will come back. Like, the ban will be lifted. I mean, as long as they don't delete our accounts and we can just go and use the same accounts, I'll go back to TikTok.
I sort of live in a bubble where I don't fully understand what anyone could do with my data. I'm a middle-aged fat woman in the middle of the country. What are you going to do? Are we concerned that I switch from Kraft cheese to Great Value? I don't understand what importance I have. But I also recognize that naivete doesn't make it less true that maybe somebody can do something awful and evil and injurious to myself, my family, my community, my state, my country. Maybe that's true, but so far we have begged our representatives, please show us what this security issue is and why ByteDance is more guilty than everybody else. When if Chinese owned and run and accessed apps are a problem, why was RedNote even on? It's an even more Chinese app than the Chinese app we're all worried about right now, right? Why was that even on the App Store if the concern is turning over American data to countries that aren't America? So, like, there's so many questions that no one's getting answers to, and we're potentially lemmings off a cliff right now. I don't know, but I do feel like we've sort of reached a cultural breaking point where we see some patterns of some communication sort of being honed in by our leadership. And that's concerning if you've ever studied, the middle of the 20th century. We see some aspects of concerning behavior of being ignored, of an oligarchical stand with Elon getting power given to him, with Mark Zuckerberg having all this lobby ability. And then right on the heels of TikTok being shut down, the Meta company is like, hey, we're going to completely restructure how we filter data. Like, all of those, if viewed individually, might be pink flags at best, but when you compile them all together, it feels like a red flag. And I'm pretty sure the American public is just like, I don't care anymore. I don't understand what's happening. I just want the dancing cats. I don't care who gives them to me.
I've heard about RedNote, Neptune, Bluesky, things like that. I'm not fully sure yet. I'm not fully convinced that TikTok getting banned yet. It's like hard to believe almost. But if it does, like, all I can do is to keep doing what I'm doing. I'll hop on the other apps, of course. I will keep writing, keep singing, doing what I'm doing, and just going forth with that. That's all that I can really do. I want to be the best that I can be, and I want to keep going, no matter whether it's on TikTok or not.
It'll just be like we wake up on the 20th and it either doesn't work or it still does. It's probably better for my productivity because I use it a lot. But also I know a lot of people rely on the app, like influencers, and a lot of brands do a lot of marketing through TikTok. And I definitely hear about a lot of like restaurants, cafes, products through TikTok. So I'm curious to see kind of what the impact would be on a lot of people that rely on that for their primary source of marketing.
I use it a lot, but I use it for, cooking and stuff like that. So I really like it. But besides that, I'm like, it's not really gonna like affect me too much. But I will be sad because I use it for everything: cleaning, cooking, how to get places, that kind of stuff.
I'm honestly really excited for it because I'm 24 and I feel like I kind of grew up with Instagram, TikTok, whatever, but I noticed with TikTok there's like such a decrease in like people's kind of mental capabilities. I just saw something recently where someone was like, oh, they asked like a kind of Gen Alpha person, like someone asked them how old they were, and like, I'm 25, and like, oh, you're so old. And like, let's ban TikTok then, because it's like, TikTok just completely accelerating brain rot, so excited to see it banned, honestly.
Boy, you guys want to see something cool? Watch this. Someone please tell me how it's 2020.
I think my generation's kind of just of the opinion of like, oh, we have a Chinese agent on the other side, like, hey, like, I mean, I don't really think about it that much when I'm using the app, just because there's so much stuff online, and I feel like you have such a digital presence. Like, you really have to make a strong effort to not have a digital presence and to not be able to like be tracked or to have that information public. So I feel like if not on TikTok, there'll be other like apps or other means of getting that information, but I guess TikTok is very widely used, so I could see why that's like the one that they would choose to ban.
I don't doubt it. I'm like, I don't know. I probably, but I'm like, yeah, I don't really know as much as politics version of it, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know what the government does. They're spooky.
I would love to have like all social media banned, especially, I mean, I'm very extreme in that way, I know, but like, especially any like video-based thing. Like, I don't mind Instagram, but I want Reels to be banned. Like, Reels and TikTok should be completely banned. And like, my ideal world, people just completely like diminish their like social media consumption, or like move to like Substack. I'm a big Substack person, so I feel like that's kind of fun. But yeah, that's like my personal take on it.
I think if we take a few steps back to roughly 2018, this was when TikTok first emerged as a social network. Its background is it's a spin-off of Douyin. Douyin is a Chinese social network, and it's kind of the Chinese version of TikTok. And what it did is it bought a popular social network for younger users here out in the West called Musical.ly. So Musical.ly is the origins of TikTok, but it became Chinese owned. And users and governments, especially in Western economies, started to get concerned that the Chinese government were harvesting data from users' phones, looking at user activity, and maybe even shaping what users see on TikTok. So it's all about concerns whether the Chinese owners are using the apps that we use here in the West day to day and manipulate them in certain ways.
Chu, you are here because the American people need the truth about the threat TikTok poses to our national and personal security.
We do not promote or remove content at the request of the Chinese government.
The question
and we will replace.
The question is, are you 100% certain that they cannot use your company to promote such messages?
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by any government.
If you can't.
Currently in the US, TikTok is facing a potential ban, and this is as a result of Senate appearances where the organization's CEO, Shao Zi-Chu, was asked a series of questions about security of data, whether or not TikTok is being used by Chinese government to look at users' activities, and broadly, whether it's a security threat. And back in, I think it was January 2024, TikTok's appearances in front of Senate did not satisfy US senators. So a process started, culminating in, if TikTok doesn't split away from its Chinese owners, a ban in the United States.
On this vote, the yeas are 352, the nays are 65. One present, 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without the objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Thank you. TikTok is a threat to our national security because it is owned by ByteDance, which does the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party. We know this because ByteDance leadership says so, and because Chinese law requires it. This bill therefore forces TikTok to break up with the Chinese Communist Party. It does not apply to American companies. It only applies to companies subject to the control of foreign adversaries defined by Congress.
Kentucky reserves, the gentlewoman from Washington is recognized.
So what we're currently experiencing is this period where TikTok is being forced by US lawmakers to actually divest. So what they want is for TikTok to be fully independent, to not be potentially used by Chinese government. And if it does not do something that satisfies the government will implement a ban. So potentially from Sunday the 19th of January 2025, US users will not be able to access TikTok. They might look at ways to bypass the ban. There's rumored, VPNs, that kind of thing. But as of Monday, we might face 170 million users not accessing TikTok now.
美国众议院通过的这个法案，让美国站在了公平竞争原则和国际经贸规则的对立面。如果所谓国家安全的理由可以用来任意打压别国的优秀企业，那叫毫无公平正义可言。
TikTok has this week released communications to its employees, internal memos, which have been circulated externally now, encouraging staff to turn up to work on Monday and encouraging staff to trust internal communication and not speculation on social media or in the press. But as far as we know, staff are all still turning up to work in TikTok's US offices on Monday. TikTok is saying that there's a plan, but it's not saying what the plan is, probably because it's going to be right down to the line. One of the things that TikTok users have been doing in recent days, almost in an act of protest, is using other apps that are similar, but are also Chinese owned to show just how many there are. One of which is RedNote. Now, RedNote's been around a long time. It launched in 2013. It's mainly used by Chinese social media users, and it's got over 300 million users. It had 200 million in 2023, 100 million in 2021, steadily growing. So it's not new, it's no surprise. But up until a week ago, there weren't really any American or English-speaking users of the app, and its popularity is surging. RedNote's really interesting. It looks like a hybrid of Instagram and TikTok. It's got two feeds, not just one, so you can consume more information. So it's got a different twist on it. And actually, in the last 3 days, RedNote has actually been launching a series of English language functions, including how many views hashtags are receiving and user data as well. So it is actually making a play for the American user base. So senators should be aware that unless they're going to ban every app they don't like the look of, users are going to vote with their feet.
In this vote, the yeas are 360 and the nays are 58. The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
RedNote has received investment for a number of high-profile technology companies, including Alibaba and Tencent, which are also Chinese. So I think fast forward a few months, I wouldn't be surprised if RedNote comes under the same scrutiny that TikTok has over the last 2 years.
Oh, there you go. Load in biryani.
Frenchie?
Frenchie on the knees.
Has global ambitions. It's changing its functions so that it's English language user friendly. And the content, you're seeing a lot more English language content on there. The hashtag TikTok has received 2 billion views. TikTok refugee, which is a really popular one, nearly 1 billion views. So you're seeing a lot of activity from English language users, and the app itself, through the changes to its technologies, is showing that it really does have global ambitions.
You guys want to see something cool? Watch this. Someone please tell me how it's 2020.
Down, champions!